Hi everyone. It's been a while since I have done a train video. I think the last one I did was when I was showing you where I was going to build a railroad in my old carriage house. About that time, it finally dawned on me that we were in some crazy times. So I went ahead and canned the idea of doing a train room. It would have cost a lot of money to get that done, and I just didn't feel it was wise to spend that money to do so. So I went from doing that and I went into the prepper mode. And I started prepping for bad times that could be coming. So, and at the same time, I was kind of scared, just like a lot of people were, like, what the heck is going to happen? And over the next while, the more research I did and everything else, it finally dawned on me that we are one with the Spirit. The Creator made us, and we are one with Him. And we are sovereign beings that are made in His Spirit, of course. So I started getting more into that and started doing more praying and more meditating. And then I realized, right or wrong, that we're on this planet for a purpose and an experience. And we were put here with everything we need to live and survive and thrive. And we are just in this body. And when this body gives up, then our spirit will move on elsewhere, or you can call it a soul if you want. So I have come to the realization that being scared of what is going to happen is not a good way to go. Not if you truly believe in the Spirit and you're working on what your purpose is here. So, my belief now is if something were to happen to me, to this body that I am in, that my spirit would go on. And I am no longer scared like I used to be. Now, saying that, I'm still prepping. It's kind of foolish not to prepare for any bad times that may come. But I'm no longer scared doing it. And I have buildings, I have track, I have cork, I have engines, I have cars, I have scenery materials, all stuck in boxes that have been sitting there ever since I moved here to New Brunswick. And I started getting a hankering again to do a railroad. And I came up with kind of a plan. I wanted to build a modular railroad. Excuse me, I'll have a sip of coffee here. I wanted to do a modular railroad that I can still set up in what was going to be my train room if I want to, or if the weather's bad. Here in New Brunswick, the winters get very cold. I can just go ahead and set up a little modular layout in my living room and run some trains and have some fun. So I came up with a plan where everything is going to be laid out on 4x4 squares. That way I can build as many modules as I want, or as few as I want, and I will still be able to run trains. You never know, I might start doing a show again someday. You just never know. And building modules, if for some reason I move somewhere, I can just pack up my modules and take them with me and do whatever somewhere else. But I also wanted to build a module that was reasonable. The last model railroad club I was in, great little model railroad club, but I really wasn't fond of their modular design. And years ago I did videos on building those modules and actually designing a large radius corner for their club as well. But the Fremo modules are basically 2x4. Also the NMRA modules are also 2x4, so I decided to stick with that. I toyed with the idea of doing a 5-foot module, and then I got thinking, you know, by the time you build a corner or stuff, they get kind of heavy and they get kind of big and they get kind of awkward. So I decided to stick with 4-foot modules. Doing it that way, if I wanted to build just a simple circle with 4 corners, I could do that. If I wanted to put modules in between, I could go have a 8x12 layout, or 8x16 layout, or 12x12 layout, or 16x16 layout. If I wanted to build inside corners, I could do whatever. I could make a U shape, I could make an L shape, I could do whatever. So basically, I'm going to build enough modules right now to do a 8 feet by 12 feet. I hope you all can see that. You'll see I've got 4 corner modules in there, and then 1 in between, and that's what'll do it. Everything is simple. If I wanted to put another corner, say in here, like an inside corner, I could do that, and then have an outside corner over here. And then I could put modules in between using the 4-foot square pattern. Pretty doggone simple. So that's what I have laid out. And I even come up with, I may do one module with a square end on it that would take place of a corner here. I hope you guys can see that. That would take place of a corner here, that if I wanted to, I could put a yard lead out this way and use it as a staging area. So, of course, there's a couple different things I haven't liked. I remember in my old model railroad club, we used to use latches on the side that all our power went through. And good system. That part really worked good. The modules went together and they came apart really easily. There were no dangly parts underneath. But those latches were basically, they call them suitcase latches. Some people call them drawer catches. But they're always sticking out and always flinging around. They got bent, and we were always adjusting on those things. So I got thinking about it, and I think I have come up with an idea for doing power. So there's no dangly parts or anything like that on it. What I have come up with is this right here. You will see here, let me go ahead. This would be on the right hand side of all the modules, this right here. And you'll see I have a bolt right here that moves in and out. And on this side of it, I will put my wire, my feeder wires. When the 2 modules go together, you will see how the 2 bolts line up. And when I clamp these things together, I should have pretty consistent power running from module to module. Now I haven't got these dowels glued in yet, but that there should work. And it's really simple. It's got the end piece on it, which I built 4 inches. And then it's got a spacer in there so that you can run 2x2 legs inside, you can see here. And then it's got the inside piece. This here is 3 inches. So what I did was I went ahead, bought some 4-inch bolts, just regular zinc bolts, and these are 1/4 by 4 inch. And of course I got the nuts and the washers and everything that goes with them. Then I found myself some springs. These springs are 1 3/4 inches long. They're 3/8 of an inch wide. They're called 3/8, and the winding on them is 35 thousandths of an inch. And I found these at my local auto parts store. These ones here are made by Dynaline. You can see right there what the springs were. So what I did was those springs fit right on the outside of that. And then I went ahead and I'll show you the process. I'm showing you the finished result so you'll see how I got there. This is my power holes here. Of course, these are my dowel holes to line up the modules. These are my power holes. And the spring fits right in like so. And you'll see that it's got lots of play there. So I can adjust on that if I want to. But I figured that ought to be enough. And pretty simple on that. I'll put a washer on there. And then a nut. And then I have my thing there. And what I'll do is I'll put an eye thing on here. And for my power wire, like just an end with an eye on it. So it will slip over top. And then I'll put another nut on it and lock it down. And we've got our power. So that is the basic premise. Oh, and I'll probably use window latches because they rotate for joining the modules together. I figured that would be good to stay out of the way. So you've got a very simple end to your module now. And once you set them up, you can set them up on legs or you can even set them up on tables. Just put them together like so. There we are. And of course the track will be on top here. You can have one track, two tracks, or I can make a yard or whatever. And the tops are like so. And so I guess the next thing I will do is to show you how I built these ends.